everybody, let's talk about practice sheet 16.2, patterns and graphing. For items 1 and 2, you're asked to create your own data table from the points plotted on the graph. If you're doing this work in Kami, I definitely suggest handwriting these tables and then uploading a photo. I think that might be easier than trying to insert text boxes and do it that way, but it's really up to you. In order to make a data table, make a T-chart, label the left side X and the Y side, or the right side Y. Okay, so remember the X-axis is always this horizontal axis that's going from side to side. It is labeled with an X here, but it's just hard to see. The Y-axis is always the vertical axis that goes up and down. And you can just barely see that it's labeled with a Y. Okay, now they're asking us to look at each of these tables and figure out which points are being named and then mark the location in our data table. So for this first point that's right here, I'm going to go over 1 and then up 1, 2, 3, 4. So this location is X-axis 1, Y-axis 4. The next point is at X-axis 2, Y-axis 6. So I went over 2 and then up 6. Okay, let's look at this data table right here. That point is located at X-axis 4, Y-axis 10. So 4, 10. And then this last one is located at X-axis. Oh, looks like I overshot that one a little bit. Okay, let me try again. X-axis 7, I think? Nope, still too far. X-axis 6? Yeah. Okay, sometimes those ones that are, if it's far away from the x-axis, it can be hard to line it up. So just work carefully. So x-axis 6, y-axis 14. Okay, now you guys do item number 2 on your own. Remember, to make your data table, you're going to make a T-chart, label one side with an X and one side with a Y. The X is the side-to-side axis, and the Y is the vertical or up and down one. Okay, let's look at number 3. This tells us that Janice is 7 years older than Tam. Janice is 7 years older than Tam. So remember, I said that a really helpful problem-solving strategy is just to draw yourself a quick sketch representing what's happening in the problem. So here's Janice. And here is Tam. I'll make her taller since she's older. Try to include details that make your illustrations more meaningful to you. Like, for example, making one stick figure taller than the other, just as a reminder that Tam is 7 years older. So I'll put plus 7 for 7 years older and then a T for Tam. Okay, then we're asked to complete the table and graph the situation. Look at your X values here. Your X values are going to represent Tam's age in years. So when Tam is 2, oh my gosh, I've got my picture reversed. Let me fix it. Hang on. Okay, so this is, Janice is 7 years older. This one is Janice, my bad. This one is Tam. So when Tam is 2, Janice is 9. When Tam is 4, Janice is 7 years older than that. When Tam is 6, Janice is still 7 years older. When Tam is 8, guess what? Tam is still 7 years older. So fill in the values in the Y column of your data chart. Okay, then when you graph the situation, you're going to want to draw an X and a Y axis and label them, X and Y. Okay, now our x-axis is going to be Tam's age. I don't have to figure that out. They already told me here that the x-axis is going to be Tam's age, and the y-axis here, that's going to be Janice's age. So now I'm going to record the scale for my y-axis. Now, if we were in the classroom together, I would give you guys graph paper, and that would make this a lot easier. Since we're not all together and we don't all have access to graph paper, I'm just asking basically that you sketch what you make. Okay, so let's see. 4 plus 7 is 11, 6 plus 7 is 13, and 8 plus 7 is 15. So I need to go over to the 2 and then up to the 9 and plot my first point right here. Then I'm going to go over to the 4 and up to the 11 and plot my second point. Next, I'm going to go over to the 6 and up to the 13. And last, I'll go over to the 8 and up to the 15. You can tell you're doing it more or less right if your points are all lining up in a fairly straight line that you can connect. So the last thing to do is just show, well, let me do a line. Yeah, okay. Show the line that connects these points so that in theory, you could continue on and know the location of any point. I could add or calculate any point on that line. Okay, so that's what they're asking you to do. For items 4 and 5, we're going to use the same process. First, take a look at your situation. This one's about cupcakes. Complete the items that are missing from the table, and then graph the situation. When you're making your graph, you need to make sure that you have an x-axis and a y-axis. Mark the intervals on each axis. Label each axis so that the person looking at your work knows what information is being shown. So like, for example, on your x-axis, you're going to have number of packages. On your y-axis, you're going to have number of cupcakes. Okay, so label your x and your y-axis. I'm just putting a box there and let you fill in with the label. And then last but not least, graph your points and connect them with a straight line. And do the same thing for question number 5. Okay, let's take a look at number 6. Number 6 tells us that a graph includes the ordered pair 2, 4. Write 2 different rules that could be possible for the graph. So the easiest way to do this, I think, is to make yourself a data table. Label one side X and put your X coordinate into your data table. So 2 goes here. Label the other side Y and put your Y coordinate into your data table. Then ask yourself this: what change has occurred to the 2 that resulted in your Y coordinate being a 4? What change has occurred to the 2 that resulted in your Y coordinate being a 4? Well, if I multiply 2 times 2, I get 4, right? So if I did that to every value on my X axis, then my Y coordinates would look like this. So my rule is going to be take whatever your X axis is, multiply it by 2, and that will give you your Y coordinate. Another way to write this is like this: 2x equals y. So I can write that rule up here on this line. Then do the same thing and try to come up with another rule. What's another calculation that you could have performed on the 2 to get 4? Could you add something to the 2 and get 4? Then write a rule using x and y that shows what you're doing to any x coordinate to result in the corresponding y coordinate. Let me know if you have any questions about this work. Also, I'd like to remind you to check your grades frequently on Schoology. If you see a 50 in your grade book with a comment about not uploading a written work, then that is a reminder to you that a 50 is a failing grade. I'm no longer assigning passing grades for work that does not include your written work. So your options for written work include the following. You can handwrite your work and upload a photo of it. You can insert text boxes and type your thinking or your explanations, or you can use the pen tool in Kami. You choose what's easiest for you. What is non-negotiable is this. You must show your thinking or show how you found the answers to each problem. Okay, let me know if you have any questions.